How many Nigerians are in the diaspora? According to the International Immigration Organization, as of 2024, there were about 2.1 million Nigerians officially living abroad. And when you include the children and grandchildren abroad, the global Nigerian diaspora is estimated to be over 17 million. This makes Nigeria one of the largest diaspora population in the whole world. And did you know that Nigerians abroad send over $20 billion back home every year? I mean, that is like $90 billion over the last 5 years. That is more than most foreign investment in Nigeria and more than the oil revenue that Nigeria gets in some years. So it is very clear that the Nigerian diaspora is a big source of revenue for the Nigerian economy, and that Nigerians in diaspora have the resources to make a very big impact on the economy back home. However, the diaspora are always faced with a difficult choice or dilemma on how to deploy their resources. So in today's video, let's take a look at all the factors that we need to consider in order to make that important decision of where to deploy our resources as Nigerians in the diaspora. Make sure you watch this video to the end to get some information and analysis that can help you to make that important decision. And also, please weigh in and let us know what you think. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is Diaspora. I have lived in Canada for over 25 years. Welcome back to this side of life. And if you're new here, welcome to the Wise Tribe, and thank you all for joining me today. So we are talking today about the dilemma that Nigerians and other Africans in the diaspora face when it comes to investing their hard-earned money. We all know that we work very hard for our money, people working 2-3 jobs to be able to take care of themselves and also have some extra money to invest. So let us look at some of the factors that we need to consider in order to decide whether we want to invest at home or abroad. The way I'm going to tackle this today is to look at the pros and cons of investing at home versus investing abroad. So let's get started with investing at home. The pros of investing at home in Nigeria or any other African countries includes the fact that being a developing country, there are many growing sectors and opportunities in the economy back at home. I mean, there are growing industries like the logistics industry, the agriculture and food processing industry, real estate, renewable energy, technology startups, and educational services. The list goes on and on. So a lot of opportunities to invest. That is one of the biggest pros of investing back at home. Also, the barrier to entry is very low. Like, for example, with not a lot of capital, you can start many of these businesses, especially if you are in the diaspora and you have hard currency that you are going to change into the local currency. Then the capital layout for many investments are less than if you were to make a similar investment abroad. And so you can easily start something small without taking huge loans like you would need to do if you were abroad. So yeah, that's another pro of choosing to invest back at home. And then there's also the potential of higher return on investment. So if you are willing to take the risk, then the potential is there for you to get a bigger ROI on your investment than you will get if you invested your money abroad. And then finally, there is the emotional and social satisfaction. Oh, that I am investing, in my country. I am helping to boost the economy of my country, providing jobs for people back in my country. So that gives you an emotional and social satisfaction that you are doing something good for your own people, right? So yeah, those are some of the pros of investing back at home. But it is not all rosy, right? There are cons as well to investing your hard-earned money back at home. And the number one con for investing your hard-earned money back at home is the high risk of fraud. I mean, I have done a number of videos about real estate fraud and land fraud and all kinds of fraud that you run into in the process of trying to invest back at home. So yeah, that is one of the big cons. So you just have to be extra careful and know the kind of people that you deal with when you are making any kind of investment back at home. But of course, like we know, the economists tell us that when you have high risk, then there is high reward. It is very risky, but that is also why, if it works out, it is very rewarding and the ROI is high. But that is the number one big con about investing back at home. And the second con is like the first, which is the lack of transparency and enforcement, right? So if you want to go and invest back at home, you know that there's a lot of corruption, there's poor record keeping, regulation or governance. So anything really goes. So yeah, that's another con to investing back at home. So if you do want to invest, you need to look out for those things. And of course, currency instability. We know what has happened, for example, in Nigeria over the past 5 years or so, how the naira has just plummeted and people's investments have really lost value. So yeah, that's another con for investing back at home, the instability of the currency. And then of course, there is infrastructure and operational problems. We know Nigeria, no electricity, no good roads, and all these are going to affect and impact whatever business or investment you want to make in the country. Yeah, so that's another con that you need to consider when you want to make that decision to invest in the home country. And then finally, if you are in the diaspora, having a business or investment back at home means that you are far from your investment, and so monitoring becomes an issue. Do you have people that you can trust that can manage the business or watch over your investment or help you with the investment? That is a big question, and that is a big con of deciding to invest back in the home country. All right, so that is the pros and cons of investing in Nigeria or your home country. Now let us go to the option of investing abroad. The advantages or pros of investing abroad include better stability and predictability, right? I'm talking about investing in places like Canada, the US, UK, Australia, Europe, right? For example, the currency is stable, you have strong legal protection, there's strong governance over all the business activities and economic activities. There's documentation, transparent documentation. You have contracts that you can trust. It happens, but it is very rare. It is rare for you to be defrauded of your investment like you can be defrauded if you invested back at home. And also there's long-term security. That's why people invest for their retirement, right? Like, you invest for the long term and you are sure that, your money is going to be there and there's not going to be any issues with it, right? And you can borrow money to invest, like how people say other people's money. That is easier to do abroad than back home in Nigeria, for example. And then finally, I would say you have some peace of mind. And even though returns might not be as much as when you invest back at home, at least you are confident that you are going to get your return. You don't have to chase people around. You don't have to worry so much about people defrauding you. And you can trust the system that you will get your money back. You will get your returns, even though they may not be as much, but you are sure that you will get back those returns. Now, the cons of investing abroad is potentially lower return on investment compared to when you invest at home. And we've talked about that. It's because of the risk, right? The risk is higher at home, and so you expect higher returns. The risk is lower here, so you expect relatively lower returns when you invest abroad. Another con is that there are higher entry requirements, right? To start a business abroad, you need a bigger capital layout, right, than you would need if you were to start the same kind of business back at home. So that's another con, that's another disadvantage of investing abroad, the requirement of a higher capital layout. That's how you find people taking a loan to start a business, because really it's hard for you to raise that fund by yourself. Meanwhile, if you were investing at home, especially if you're changing your hard currency to the local currency, you could easily get the capital to start a business back at home. So that's another con of investing abroad. And then also abroad is a slow and steady type of environment, right? It's not like Nigeria that you will get a business idea or something and you become a millionaire overnight, which is possible because of the environment. But here it is more slow and steady. Like if you go and get a franchise, for example, you can make money and build wealth over time, right? You don't become an overnight millionaire. Let me put it that way. And then finally is the emotional part of it. Like, you feel like, oh, you are developing another man's country and you are not developing your own country. Some people feel like not investing in their home country and investing abroad is like they are forgetting their country and that they are not being patriotic. So those are the pros and cons of both options of where you invest your money. If I were to summarize, I would say that on the one hand, investing in Nigeria or your home country is better if you want high risk, high reward opportunities. If you want to start business with a small capital, if you want faster growth potential, and contributing to the economy back home and emotional fulfillment. While investing abroad is better if you want security and peace of mind, long-term financial stability, protecting your money from sudden loss and building wealth in a predictable environment. So that's it for today. What do you think about my analysis? Do you agree with those pros and cons for investing back at home or investing abroad? What has been your own experience as a Nigerian and African in the diaspora with investing your hard-earned money at home or abroad? And based on the analysis, which of these options would you take and why? Let me know. Share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload new videos. Also, stay tuned to this channel for much more interesting content coming your way. Until I come your way again, until the next video, you go out and make it the best days of your life. Bye!